An affordable makeup look using only drugstore products, is that even possible? Yes it is, and I'm going to show you how I did this makeup look using only drugstore products on my mature skin. Welcome to Beauty by Des. I'm Des and I love talking about makeup, skincare, clothes and other bits and bobs that make me happy. And if you like this kind of content, please consider giving me a thumbs up and better yet subscribe to the channel so that YouTube chooses my videos to put in front of other older women who might enjoy this kind of content. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm so excited for today's video because it's my first collaboration with the fantastic Maggie D. Maggie started her channel about 6 months ago, so just a little bit after me. She's 10 years younger, she's based in the US, and she focuses on affordable makeup and some skincare. And she does buy high-end, but she buys it from TJ Maxx, as it's called in the States. We call ours TK Maxx. So she does actually have a really huge array of affordable makeup, some of which is actually high-end, but she's purchased it at an affordable price. And she does focus on mature skin. She is really fantastic. She's so honest. I love that about her, and she's funny. So I highly recommend checking out her channel. And when you do, please say that Des sent you. So without further ado, let's make a start. So I have prepped my mature skin with vitamin C, followed by an SPF that's a moisturiser as well from CeraVe. Now the Beauty Pie vitamin C obviously isn't affordable, but the CeraVe is, and I will put the products down below for you. I've also done a video where I mention them, which I will link up in the corner for you. Before I start applying the makeup, I just want to tell you I've managed to bring in all the makeup that I'm going to be using today at under £100, which I know is a little bit more than $100. Obviously it's about 117, I think, and actually I managed to shave off about £5 from my original list because I decided to go with the L'Oreal True Match foundation rather than the L'Oreal True Match Serum foundation. And let me show you the difference. So this is the True Match regular, as it were, and this is the serum. Now the serum foundation, which has the blooming dropper that nobody likes, although I know a lot of people like the foundation, this one is actually twice the price of this one. So I've gone with this one for two reasons actually. One is because it's cheaper. The other reason I've gone for it is because it doesn't have any alcohol in it, so denatured alcohol, whereas this one does, and that's really odd because this one sells itself as a serum foundation, whereas this one is just a regular one. But this one also has hyaluronic acid, as does this one. This one has an SPF. Not everybody wants an SPF in their foundation, I know. But I just think, why would you choose this one when you can have this one? And this one suits many more skins, I'm sure, because it must be less drying. Why would you put alcohol in a serum foundation? I just don't understand it. So we're going to go with the L'Oreal True Match foundation, and I am in the shade 5N. Now, what I really like about this, let me just shake it up, is it's quite liquidy. Oh, actually, before I do that, let me just moisten a sponge in case I decide to finish it off with a sponge, but I'm actually going to apply it with my fingers. So what I usually do is shake the bottle, pop a couple of pumps on there. I may need a bit more, but we'll just see. And I dot it on. Oh, do you know, I forgot to tie my hair back. I'll do that in a sec. Wait a minute, let me just wipe my hands because we don't want to get, where are my pins? We don't want to get foundation on my hair, do we? That wouldn't do. Right, let me just pop that up like that. Oh, there we are. Right, so let's pop it on. Well, it's a bit of a gloomy old day out there. I don't know how you all are. I hope you're all doing well. It's a very funny time. Right, let's have a look just to check. I don't actually think that needs much of a sponge touch-up, but I think we might do it just for belt and braces purposes. Now you can see that's a nice glowy. It's not matte. I mean, I do usually like a matte foundation, although I'm wondering whether I'm going to veer away from that a bit as I get a bit older. I think that's looking great and very reasonably priced. All the products I use will be listed and linked below. So my next product is the E.L.F. Camo Concealer, the 16 hour. I mean, I suppose 16 hours is about right. Right, better than 24 hours perhaps, I don't know. Right, let's dot this on. Now this is a lovely creamy, actually let me just show you, nice big thick doe foot applicator, very creamy. Really love this, very reasonably priced. Been using this a lot actually. I mean, I have some high ends as well. In fact, if you're interested in a high-end concealer wear test, I will link that up in the corner for you. This is what I need to be doing. I'm just going to pat it in like that. I do have a concealer brush. I keep forgetting to use it actually. Shall I use it just for fun? Where is it now? I bought this concealer brush. Where's it gone? I bought this concealer brush because it looked a lot like Angie Hot and Flashy's concealer brush, which is meant apparently for mature skin. Not affordable, I wouldn't say. And you have to buy the whole set. And also, because I live in the UK, I have to order it from the States and things take forever. So at the moment, I'm not inclined to buy the set. So what I did do was I bought a load of brushes from Beauty Pie because they're very reasonably priced if you are a member. And I've done a Beauty Pie video. I'll link that up there for you as well if you're interested. So yes, so I thought I bought a few brushes from there, which I thought, well, maybe they will replicate a little bit the Angie Hot and Flashy, although I don't know because I haven't got them. Actually, I know Maggie did a really good and honest review of the brushes. So when you go to her channel, have a look at that because it's a really helpful review. I think she found one or two were really good and some were kind of okay. Right, let's have a look. Yeah, that's looking good. Now, the next thing we're going to do is set the concealer, and I'm going to use the L'Oreal True Match powder. Oops, this one. Sorry, that's it there. This is quite difficult to get hold of. When I looked for it, the only place I could find it was on Amazon. I couldn't find it anywhere else, and every time I looked for it, it kept coming up foundation, like powder foundation rather than the actual powder. But I do think this powder, this setting powder is really good. Now, it is a setting powder, so I'm not going to use it all over. It's quite densely packed, as it were. It's obviously not a loose powder. No fallout. And all I do is I just pat it round here. I should have said, I mean, I don't know whether mature skin suits a primer. So you may have noticed I haven't used a primer. I'm not convinced that primers are particularly good for mature skin, for older skin, because they're just going to add another layer, which, if you're not careful and you don't have the right primer, is going to end up making your makeup look cakey, in my humble opinion. Mind, it has to be said, I haven't tried many primers. I think I used to use Laura Mercier back in the day, but I haven't used one. Although I must admit, I am a bit tempted there's a Bobbi Brown primer, which I've seen some people talk about, which apparently is very good. But you know, I'm from the generation where with makeup there was no primer. In fact, I'm not sure there was any concealer either, to be honest. I mean, there probably was, but I don't remember it. You know, it was just makeup. And actually I used to use, now this really dates me, I used to use Max Factor Cream Puff. It sounds like a dessert, doesn't it? It sounds like a biscuit or something, like what we would call a biscuit in the UK. It does sound like some kind of desserty thing, but it was just a powder puff. Well, it was a foundation in a container like this with a powder puff, and you just popped it on. Anyway, I'm digressing now. So that's the powder on. The next thing we're going to do is, or the next things we're going to do are brows. Now, I am in love with this pencil. Can you be in love with a pencil? I don't know. This is a Revolution retractable pencil. The waxiest pencil I have found, and it's a beautiful... Oh, wait a minute, what's happened here? Oh, you just put it off. So you've got a spoolie here and you've got the retractable pencil here, so you can just brush up your brows like that, just to get them ready for an application. What I really love, I think this is black, but I've looked on the case, I cannot see. Yeah, it looks like black, doesn't it? I cannot actually see the colour. But I think this is just the absolute bizzo, because you can go really lightly. I am not dexterous. I can't draw. I mean, I even have trouble playing Pictionary. I cannot draw. So I find doing my brows really quite difficult with a fine pencil that doesn't have a lot of waxiness. But this one, I mean, look, that's it. And as you can see, I haven't gone hard. I've almost put the pencil sort of almost sideways because it's so waxy. Now, what we don't want is for me to look like Groucho Marx. That wouldn't do, would it? So we're just going to be very light. And then what we're going to do afterwards is I'm going to use my trusty brow, what do you call it? Well, you'll see in a minute. Just to kind of diffuse things a bit. Okay, we might have gone a little bit heavy on this one. Actually, do you know something else I've noticed? Actually, let's just brush them up again. As I've started to do YouTube, I've noticed not only is this eye, I think it's this eye, is kind of droopier. It's got more elephant hide on it, my lids. But also, I think my brow's a bit droopier. I think I'm quite lopsided, really. I never really noticed it before. Probably age. I mean, it's gravity, isn't it? What can you do? Right, so then I get my plump set I'll say it again. Then I get my Plump and Set Brow Artist from L'Oreal, and it's a little tiny brush, little tiny kind of spoolie brush, and I just lift them up a little bit like this just to make them, well, sort of slightly diffusing them and making them look a bit less Groucho-ish, which we don't want. And the reason I say Groucho, by the way, is not just because my brows look thick, but if I put my glasses on, let me just show you. If I put my glasses on and I've got heavy brows, you can see that I might look a bit Groucho-ish. I don't know. So we've done the brows. The next thing we're going to do are the eyes. Now, I was humming and hawing about which palette to use because I've got some beautiful drugstore palettes for mature skin. I really have, but and when I say for mature skin, what I mean is they're not really bright colours, they're more neutral. Now, that's not to say that you can't wear bright colours as a mature woman, but generally speaking, I would say most mature skins, most mature women tend to stick to neutrals more. That's my observation anyway. If you want to wear puce or green or metallics or whatever you want to wear, of course you can wear them, but I just thought in this video, as we're focusing on affordable makeup for mature skins, I just thought I would pick a neutral palette. So this is it. It's E.L.F, and I must say I absolutely love E.L.F. Talk about affordable. They are one of the most affordable brands, I think, from the drugstore, and they really do suit mature skins. I absolutely love them. So this palette is called the New Classics. Let me just swatch some of the colours for you just to show you. This is Glamour. I mean, you can see the pigment. Actually, let me just swatch these four just because they're in a row. So these four here, and then I can show you. Look at these beautiful, beautiful colours. This is an 18-pan palette. I think it's absolutely stunning. Right, let's start the application. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be using 3 colours. I'm going to do a transition shade. I'm going to then do a lid shade, and then I'm going to use a very dark shade as an eyeliner. So let's make a start. I'm going to use this Real Techniques brush, quite good for applying transition shades, and I'm going to go with this one here, which is called Charmer, I believe. Yes, it is. It's called Charmer. Right, let's dust that off, and we're going to put it on the lid, and we're going to go above the lid as well, like this. Get a bit more. There we are. So I'm not going to put anything above this as a kind of highlighter. I'm just going to, I think that may be somebody at the door. It's probably an Amazon parcel. I seem to be getting a lot of Amazon parcels at the moment. Right, there we are. That's that side. It's such a grey day out there. It's really, I think it's quite mild. It's funny, we haven't had a proper winter here, really. Well, in London we haven't. I mean, this is the thing, because we're in the south of the UK, so we don't get the sort of the really cold weather they get up north, particularly in Scotland. But yeah, it's not been too bad, really. Right, so we are going to tidy that up a bit, but I think we've got enough colour on there to play with. So the next colour I'm going to take for the lid, I'm going to take a well-packed, let me look for the right brush, yes, a nice densely packed, thin brush like this. So I'm going to dip it in this brown, because what we're going to go for is we're going to go for quite a smoky eye, I think, because that seems to be at the moment what I'm liking. It reminds me of the pans that I used in a video when I did an autumn get ready with me, and I'll link that up there for you, where I did quite sort of autumny colours, and I'm still gravitating towards those, I must say. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, you see, look at this lid. I mean, look at it. It's like elephant hide. It's all foldy. So I might have to kind of lift it up a bit to apply. Oh, sorry, somebody's beeping outside. Right, there we are. I'll deal with the fallout in a minute. There's bound to be a bit of fallout. But we just want to make sure we're packing. We just want to make sure we're packing on mature skin, or on mature lids in this instance, with colour, because we want it to look different from the lighter colour above, which it will, I promise. Right, we're just going to do a bit of blending to make sure that one colour moves seamlessly into the other. Oh, sorry, I should have said I'm using my Spectrum, I think it's 06 brush, which is also an affordable brush. Some of my brushes are affordable, not all of them are, has to be said. But actually maybe I ought to do a video about brushes. It's funny, I've never been, I suppose because I haven't used brushes for everything except for eyes. And also I suppose the other thing is, before I started doing YouTube videos, I did, like Maggie, use a lot of cream products. And now, lately, I haven't, but I must, well, I think I suppose I tend to use them in the spring, summer, rather than in the autumn, winter. So, now I must be careful, because of this, particularly this lid, which is so hooded and crinkly, we don't want to lose any colour there, but we'll look at that in a minute. Do you know what I mean? You can just see, sometimes I might miss a bit because of the fold there, but we'll worry about that in a minute. The next thing we're going to do, before we put on the black that I'm going to choose, I'm going to go with this black here, is I'm going to use my black Eyeliner pencil. I have bought a brown one recently as well, but I actually think for this look, I'm sorry, I'm just going to get my mirror here, I'm going to tight line, and I'm also going to line my top lash, so let me just do that here. This is a great pencil, it really is great because it's so waxy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try, and it's quite difficult on wrinkly lids, but I'm going to try and make the line that I'm going to put here a bit thicker on the side, and then thin it out as I go across to the other side. So let me just see, I hope I can show you on the camera what I'm doing. So I'm kind of starting, I know what I'll do. Right, can you see there? I've kind of started a wing. I mean, I'm not winging out here because there's no point in that because it's all foldy, but I'm starting a wing which I'm going to fill in, so a little bit like a sort of a Usain Bolt, as it were, pointy thing. And then coming across into a very narrow, there we go, narrow line. That's it there. I mean, I'm going over this, I'm going to go over this with the black from the palette in a minute, so I don't know if you can see, I hope you can. And we'll do the same over here. Now, like I said, one eye is different from the other, which is not terribly helpful, especially when you're not good at drawing like me, but we can but try. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Now bear in mind, oh wait a minute, we need to fill this in, that's the only thing, because this one, I need to get very close to the lash. Now you can see there is fallout. I hope you can see that I've winged out a bit at the side. Now taking a nice thin brush, so thin and flat, dip it into the black here. And now I'm going to go over the line that I've just created with the pencil, just to kind of set it, although to be honest it doesn't really need a lot of setting, but just to kind of enhance it, I suppose, is really the thing, isn't it? Okay, so we've done the liner. Right, let's get rid of all this fallout. Let me just check that that's all gone. Yeah, see, not much fallout really. Just using another of my Beauty Pie brushes, which I really like, nice fluffy one. Okay, so that's all done. Right, next we're going to do the face. So the first thing we'll do is, now I was going to use an E.L.F. In fact, I did buy an E.L.F. bronzer, but unfortunately it's too orangey for me. It's not the right shade. So I've gone with Milani, which I know is expensive. It's about £16 in the UK, but it's a great cool colour. I don't want an orangey bronzer, I just don't. So Milani, again, quite difficult to get hold of in the UK for some unknown reason. But anyway, I'm going to use another, oh no, this is a Morphe brush actually. I'm going to use my Morphe brush, dip it into my Milani, tap it off, and just pop a bit around here on my mature skin. See, I really, really like the colour of that foundation. I think it's great. Now, I do have an issue on camera particularly, but even in real life, unless I haven't got any makeup on, my neck is quite a different colour from my skin. And this was pointed out to me when I went to the Lisa Eldridge shop to buy the Lisa Eldridge foundation. If you haven't seen my review of that, I will link that up in the corner for you. In fact, I did a comparison between IT Cosmetics and Lisa Eldridge, so I'll link that up there, which is probably more interesting. Well, there is the foundation one isn't a review, it's more of a test the card and work out what shade I am. Anyway, I'll link them both up there and down below in the description box. Right, that is the Milani. The next thing is blusher. Now this is a new shade. I have done E.L.F. blusher before called Too Silly. No, not Too Silly, Always Silly. Very appropriate for me. This one, if I can open it, I've got no nails at the moment. Arrgh! This one is called Too Preppy. I don't think anyone could accuse me of being preppy, but I don't mind. Every time I hear the word preppy, I always think of Love Story, that film. Oh my gosh, how many times must I have seen that film? I think I was 14 when it came out. I was so in love with Ryan O'Neal and I wanted to be Ali McGraw. In fact, I thought I looked a bit like her because I had dark hair. I didn't really look anything like her at all. Right, let us pop on. I'm sorry, I'm waffling terribly. Let's pop on. See how pretty that colour is? It's so nice and pinky, right up my street. Okay, so we've got the blusher on, and now I'm very excited by this Miracle Glow by Max Factor. I've never been one for highlighters really, but this one looks very, very nice indeed. Now, I watched Beauty by Lan, who's on Instagram. I'll link her info down below for you. And I happened to spot her doing what you mustn't do with highlighter. And she said, don't do a triangle, which I think is what I usually do. So I'm going to try not to do a triangle today. Looks like you don't need a lot of this because it's quite... I suppose we're just... Oh, you see, it's very difficult to get it in the right spot, isn't it? And also I have no idea what this is going to look like on camera, but one can but try. We're not doing a highlighter, we're just doing the top of our cheekbones. See, I've always worried that it settles into this sort of puckered, mature, old wrinkly skin there and maybe doesn't do it any favours. This I think looks maybe slightly better, but one can but try. Anyway, I really like it. You can see you don't need a lot of it. Good old Maybelline. I've still got some left on my hand. In fact, shall I just use it up just for fun? Let's just pop it on. But I promise you, Elan, we are not going to do a triangle. I mean, that is really pretty, isn't it? No triangles here. Okay, great. So we've done the highlighter. Now, this is something that isn't affordable, okay, so just hear me out. These are my new Refa, they just arrived yesterday, my new Refa eyelash curlers. And usually I wouldn't use eyelash curlers. Let me just hold this mirror so I can see what I'm doing. But everybody has sworn that these are the business. And my lashes are quite straight, although they've been okay up until recently because I had them lifted about 2 years ago, believe it or not. And then I started using a serum. Maybe I need to hold them up a bit more. Then I started using a serum and, okay, so that's what I'm doing. Look away now if you're a bit squeamish. Yeah, I mean, I think they've curled a bit. I don't know if they've made a massive difference, but anyway. Now we'll put the lash serum on and then we'll let that dry. And then we'll put some lipstick on. I can't really see without my glasses whether the eyelash colours have made a difference, but we'll see at the end. So while we're waiting for that to dry, now I completely forgot to put some colour under my eye, which is what I intended to do. So let me do that now while the primer is drying. And I think what we'll do is we'll go in with the, yeah, let's try going in with the, not the brown, but maybe the pinkier one, the transition shade, just to see how that looks rather than going too dark. It might be nice just to give some definition to the bottom part. And what I'm going to do is kind of just pull it up a little bit at the side, kind of winging it, just a tad, like that. Where are we here? That's it. Because I think that just defines, I mean, I'm going to put mascara on my bottom lashes as well, because I think that just gives it a bit more oomph. Just try and lift that up. I don't know whether that's visible or not, or if it's too light. Oh no, we can definitely see it. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Right, that's probably dried actually, so let's go in with, now we're going to do Maybelline. Not quite sure which one to do. I love them both. I love the Bambi Eyes False Lash Effect, and I also love the Maybelline Sky High. I think we might go with the Bambi Eyes today. This reminds me a bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Push-Up Lashes. So I'm just going to have to get my mirror. I just can't. This is the trouble with my eyes. I've got one eye, I had eye laser treatment, and I've got one eye for distance and one for reading. Okay, lashes on, now lipstick. Now I'm very excited about this new lipstick brand I've just found called Lottie London, and Slay All Day is the range, and it's a liquid lipstick. Now I'm a massive fan of liquid lipsticks, even though they are a complete misnomer, because although they look liquid when you first put them on, the whole point of them is that they dry matte. I have tried, and I've got some videos where I'm wearing a more glossy lipstick, and I just think they don't suit me at all. I just don't feel comfortable in them. In fact, it's really interesting because Maggie is the complete opposite. She loves a glossy lip and she really suits them. They look fabulous on her, but not on me, in my opinion. So this is the colour. I think it's called Dusty Rose, and you put it on. Oh, don't get it on your teeth. That is a lovely colour. There you go. What do you think of that? What I find interesting with the liquid lipsticks is as they dry down, they do have a tendency to look as though you've outlined your lips with a pencil, but I don't mind that. So there you have it. That is my affordable makeup look for mature skin and my first collaboration with the fabulous Maggie D. If you found this video helpful, informative, or even amusing, then please consider giving it a good thumbs up, subscribing to the channel and clicking the bell icon. I'm so grateful you're here, and I hope you'll join me on my next video. Au revoir, tatty bye, and I'll see you very soon.